It's Nolan. What's going on, y'all? It's the kid Jay Nolan here. Hey man, you know we got to talk about this Gil's Arena Miko Grimes beef. As somebody who consistently watches the show, I definitely understand that Miko Grimes is missing on this new season of Gil's Arena. There's a lot of people out there that are asking where she's at. There's also a lot of people that are happy that she's not present on the show as she's been replaced with Lexi Brown. But this has been a thing ever since the beginning of November, ever since the new season dropped. People have been trying to understand what exactly happened with Miko. Towards the end of the previous season, which just ended in like July or August, like they really didn't get much of a break. Rashad McCants was on the show and he said next season we're only going to have former NBA players and WNBA players on the couch. And that was kind of a precedent to let people know, oh shit, something's afoot. Now, for those of y'all that might not know who Miss Miko Grimes is, she's a former professional basketball player. She played overseas, you know, in Euro leagues and stuff like that, but she never made it to the WNBA. She was a very good athlete, but she also had an attitude problem that I think is what's restricted her from becoming her greatest self in a lot of different areas. I think the cast of the show had really good chemistry. However, things did take a dark turn, or at least a sharp left turn, ever since the episode where Rashad McCants wore those fake Jordans on set and he got joked on like a motherfucker. They flamed his ass all the way up. If you haven't seen that episode, you definitely need to look that up because that shit took me back to the lunch table. I ain't gonna lie to you. Now, ever since this new season dropped, people have been asking, where's Miko? They've been all in her Instagram. They've been all in her comments, in her stories, and she's been feeding into the narrative too because she's been trying to hint at, will she come back? Am I gonna be there? Stay tuned. You know, but now she finally did an interview exposing exactly why she's not on the show anymore and what exactly happened behind the scenes to rub her the wrong way. So the first thing of note is Miss Miko Grimes and Gilbert Arenas have been friends all the way back from like 2005. Back when Gil was in the league, that's when they became friends. They kept a relationship over the years, nothing romantic, just platonic friends. And they've been cool. They've seen each other in passing, phone calls, family shit, all that's been good. Back in around 2017, 2018-ish, Gilbert Arenas did his first show with Complex with like Mia Khalifa and some different people. Miko actually did some guest appearances on that show as well, so that was our first time really seeing them work together on camera. At that time, they were already talking about doing shows together. He wanted to pitch Miko Grimes to be the host of that show. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to facilitate that because the female co-host, Mia Khalifa, the former porn star, she was actually the star of the show, so there was going to be no replacing her. He ended up getting that show No Chill with Fubo. You know, that was dope in its own right. Nobody really knew his co-host like that, but, you know, you go to a network with Fubo, hey, they did what they did. He gets the opportunity to create this Gil's Arena show. He loops back, brings Miko into the fold, brings Kenya Martin, Rashad McCants, Brandon Jennings, and this really took off very fast. You know what I'm saying? It was visibly different from the previous show. The production was better. They ended up getting a stadium kind of jumbotron put in the studio. Like, the show is dope. The banter is fresh. And Gil always offers good perspective when it comes to basketball, when it comes to the NBA and the inner workings of the league, because he was a guy who was definitely stepping on the lines to make sure he was getting what he needed. In Miko's interview with the Entirely NBA podcast, she says that she was having a great time, a phenomenal time, great chemistry, great everything, up until the episode where Rashad McCants wore the Fugazi Jordans, right? And he claimed that the Jordans were not Jordans. He said that they were his own brand called Greatness. He had a fake Burberry print on them motherfuckers. His whole outfit was laced in greatness. So Rashad McCants is one of those guys who likes to make knockoffs of other brands and put his name on it. I don't co-sign that shit, but do what you do. After that episode, it was pretty apparent that Rashad would rather not work with Miko. He didn't want to talk to her. He stopped communicating with her in the group chat, all of these different things. And he either did not want to be on set with her. He wanted to take off the days where she would be on the set. And I think he even threatened to possibly leave the show at one point. In this interview, Miko also detailed an experience that happened after the Rashad McCants incident where Rashad McCants pulled out a cigar. You know, everybody's like, oh, snap, here you go with the cigar on set, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, this is from the Karl Malone collection, which instantly threw a tailspin in the room. You know what I'm saying? Gilbert Arenas even made a joke saying, damn, that's probably underage too. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, Karl Malone is somebody who they say was having a relationship with his stepdaughter or something crazy, some weird ass shit like that when he was in the league. He was a grown ass man dealing with a young woman. Pedophile nigga, you know what I mean? So that was why Gil was like, damn, that might be underage too. Miko chimed in and she was like, yo, why would you even bring that in here? Like, he's a foul dude, you know what I mean? He's a pedophile. Rashad McCants was like, we not finna do that. He was proudly smoking on the cigar. They continue with the show, but behind the scenes afterwards, Brandon Jennings actually took issue with the fact that they were joking about Karl Malone. What the people don't know is that Karl Malone is related to Brandon Jennings' longtime girlfriend. I would say wife, but I don't think they married. And Brandon Jennings' girlfriend is always there on set with them, which Miko also revealed. So in the group chat, they're texting and stuff, and Brandon Jennings was like, yo, I deserve an apology for the fact that you said that about a family member of mine. You know what I'm saying? Miko was like, fuck that, no, he is who he is. It is what it is. I'm not apologizing for shit. Brandon Jennings was like, all right, bet. Keep that same energy when my girl whoop your ass. So now Miko, she was all high and mighty. Now she begins to get a little bit timid. She says now she felt unsafe because, again, Brandon Jennings' girlfriend does come on set while they're filming the show. So she says, damn, now I feel unsafe coming on set. I don't know if they're going to try to, you know, arrange a time to jump on me, beat my ass. Is Brandon going to try to jump in if his girl attacks me? Like, so now she's talking to Gil. She's talking to the producers, trying to figure out how they could get this situation rectified. Gilbert Arenas tells her, apologize to Brandon so we can move forward. She says, no, I'm not finna apologize. That nigga's a foul nigga. Karl Malone is a pedophile. Everybody knows that. Gil said, yes, I know that too, but I also apologize to him. I was here for the jokes, but I want to keep the show going. I don't want to ruin the energy that we have with the show, right? We want to continue to do the show. Karl Malone was not a primary subject of the show. Rashad just had the cigar. Y'all could have let that go like, oh man, you smoking on that foul nigga cigar, whatever. Kept that shit moving. But now it turns into a big ordeal that's now messing with the chemistry of what they're trying to produce. So at that point, when Gil encourages her to actually apologize to Brandon Jennings, she starts feeling some type of way because she's like, damn, you're not looking out for me. You didn't look out for me with the Rashad McCants situation. You're not looking out for me with this situation. Okay, I'm starting to see where we stand. So Miko actually ended up quitting the show at that point. She said she didn't want to return. I think she did some more episodes, but it was kind of set in her mind like, I ain't going to be able to keep doing this shit because I don't know if he's still going to hold a grudge or if his girl's going to try to attack me at some point. Now, with all of these accusations that Miko brought to the table, Gilbert Arenas actually went live last night after the episode was released, and he gave his own rebuttals to all of the points that she made. All right. So this is not a one-sided story. We also have word from Gilbert Arenas. Now, throughout his live, he pinpointed all the different instances in which Miko Grimes was admitting to being difficult to work with. She spoke on multiple instances of getting in fights, being offered radio jobs, and eventually having incidents where she had to be let go by the company. She was beat up by Kenyon Martin's security way back in the days when Kenyon was still in the league because her and her friend was drunk, and her friend tried to suspiciously kind of approach Kenyon Martin in the club. Security was protecting the asset, so they ended up getting whacked. He pinpointed the fact that she spoke about getting arrested for a violent crime, right? He also talked about how she went to war with the Miami Dolphins during the time that her husband, Brent Grimes, was playing in the NFL. So everywhere that Miko goes, Gilbert Arenas is like, everywhere she goes, violence follows her. Some type of issue follows her. She never has a smooth situation with anybody. She's always confrontational, but you want to blame me. Okay, cool. Gil proceeded to also speak on the fact that Miko was actually being disrespectful to Rashad McCants in their group chat even before the Burberry Jordan fake thing popped off. Okay, so in the weeks leading up to that incident, she was already getting on Rashad McCants' head. She was clowning how he was in the gym with his fitness regimen, talking about the weights he was lifting, saying he lift weights like a pussy, all of this different stuff. She was calling him a dry dick ass nigga for talking about the women he's been with. She was questioning his access to getting, you know, beautiful women. All of these different things were taking place before everything came to a head where she joked on his shoes. While she was making these comments about Rashad McCants, he was not receiving them well. He was not doing back and forth banter as much. You know, he was basically saying, Stella, I can't help you get your groove back. Please leave me alone. He called for security multiple times in the group chat, basically saying, somebody come get this girl. I'm not going to interact and engage with her trying to come at me like this. He also went to Gil and voiced his issue and said, bro, why do you let her talk to me like this? I'm not finna go back and forth with her. I don't like her. So now we see incidents on both sides of the coin where people are looking to Gil for leadership and it's not happening, right? He's letting things go. He's feeling like he's part of the cast. It's his name on the motherfucking show, but he's not stepping in to be the captain of the ship. Now, when it came to the Karl Malone incident, Gil admits he was there for the jokes. And he said that he also apologized to Brandon Jennings. So the story corroborates, right? He's not saying that he didn't apologize. He's also not saying that he never told Miko to apologize to Brandon. He said, hey, what she said is true. I didn't want to lose the show. I got multiple shows. This is how I make my money. It's my name on the line. Y'all not finna ruin this shit for me. So if y'all got an issue, hash that shit out. It's not that deep. Yes, he's a pedophile, but we weren't even talking about that. That wasn't even on the docket of what we had to speak on today at the show. So let's sweep this shit under the rug. That was something that just came up spontaneously. It ended up not being a good plug. Let's just move forward. If y'all can't get past this shit, what the fuck are we gonna do? Gil also ends up revealing in the live that Miko has long time been close friends with Brandon Jennings' girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? He even alleges that they're best friends. So he's like, yo, you should apologize not only because Brandon feels some type of way, but also because the dude is related to your best friend. Like, you're clowning her family member on live TV, you know what I mean? Because they have a big following on YouTube. You might be better off not saying anything at all because you knew that these people were related. Like, let the shit fly, right? And this is something that ends up happening a lot of times. You know, people take these really political stances or these, you know, kind of vigilant. There's nothing wrong with advocating for women, nothing wrong with advocating for young women, especially, you know, from predators. But again, you made it your personal crusade rather than moving forward. Now, if you don't care to be on the show, if that's enough for you to leave, that's cool too. Like, say, hey, I can't support being on a show where they're going to support smoking a pedophile's cigars. Okay, cool. That's fine. But don't act like you still want to be here if that's the case, right? If you're just going to continue to be combative about something, you don't want to take back your comment. Now you're creating an issue, or an issue has been created, but you don't want to find a resolution. Gil offered her like, yo, just make an apology. She said, fuck that. She eventually ended up doing some sort of, you know, they facilitated some sort of olive branch where Brandon Jennings apologized to Miko, but she said that there was a caveat. He came with a but, like, you need to apologize to me too, because my people are offended. After that point, there began to be some behind the scenes issues, right? She was never formally invited to go back on the show. She sent Gil a text basically saying, I'm done. Gil goes to the producers of the show. They say, hey, he says, yo, Miko says she's done with the show. She ends up coming back and looks at the board to see that she's not on the list for any of the upcoming episodes or whatever. She had a conversation with Gil where he kind of, I guess, begged her to come back. There was some sort of miscommunication going on with the producers of the show. So even though Gil was having conversations with Miko on the side, they're looking at Gil for giving some sort of guidance, and he's not really taking that leadership role on. That's the main thing here. You know what I mean? He's kind of mediating. He's sitting back watching with his popcorn, like when shit pop off. But he really should be the person. I mean, his name is attached to the show. He's the one that's got the deal with Underdog Sports Fantasy or whatever the fuck. He should be the one that's like facilitating this stuff. Or if he has somebody over him, they need to be doing it. And he should be in on it. Nonetheless, in the new season, like I said in the beginning, Miko Grimes has been replaced by WNBA player Lexie Brown, which I think is a good choice, honestly, because she's a current WNBA player. She's of the younger generation. She's been in the league for a few years now. She's well respected by NBA players, current and former. She knows a lot about the game. She's been through the ups and downs in the WNBA so far with injury and coming in, having to work her way up in the league. Money issues with the league. Talking about the ladies that have to go overseas and get their bag. But you definitely see a huge contrast in the way that she gives commentary from the way that Miko used to give it up, right? Like, she's clearly not as outspoken or abrasive. She will talk about the game. They will ask her opinion, but she's more soft-spoken. She's more chill. She's more going with the vibe. She like to get her little fits off and stuff. And when I say fits, I'm talking about her outfits. Overall, I think that they made this decision to have a lighthearted work environment. You know, Miko, she's able to joke with you, but you never know when you're going to hit that switch where she goes into a political rant or something, or, you know, a sexist rant, which sometimes those are good, but it also can be an issue when you're trying to keep the flow of the show going. Although I do understand Miko Grimes' perspective, she felt like maybe she was outcasted or not supported as much as she could have been. I also think that she displays a lack of self-awareness in situations. I think that over the course of her 20 years in sports media, she's had a lot of issues that have followed her. She's gained a reputation as a somewhat troublemaker, as somebody who steps on lines, as somebody who goes over the line as far as her arrest and things of that nature. I'm not saying that's who she is. I'm not saying that's who she is at all times, but she's formed a reputation for herself. Even when she speaks about all of these different incidents, when she did the interview, you never really hear her accept accountability for the part that she plays, right? But she doesn't mind slinging mud at everybody else. I think there was definitely instances where Gil could have done more. You know what I mean? Being that the show is on his name and likeness, as I said, I would have loved to see him step up as a leader and have the hard conversations, make the hard decisions. When Miko was going hard at Rashad in the group chat prior to all of this taking place, somebody should have been in that chat to say, hey guys, let's not talk like this. Let's not go in on each other, right? Gil showed proof and screenshots of the fact that he was jumping in like, oh, wait, what happened? You know, he kind of tried to divert attention. Like, he uploaded videos of him taking shots and like, who want to do the shootout, you know what I mean? But he never took a firm stance to say, hey guys, let's not do this. Let's not be chipper with it. Let's not chip away at each other like this. We got to keep this thing going. Also letting people know, like Brendan Jennings, that threats will not be tolerated in the workplace. Like, hey, she may have said something that rubbed you and your people the wrong way. That's worth a conversation. That's worth hashing out. But when it gets to the point of threatening, there has to be some sort of protection in place for that. There has to be some sort of guidelines for that. Again, we're talking about Gil Arenas, who also line steps. He also disparages people. So he probably encourages just having thick skin, tough skin on the set. Like, hey, let's get over it. But that's not necessarily how everything works in the real world. You know what I mean? And to me, I feel like Gil is facing the same problem that he faced in the NBA all over again, right? Like, he was a great player. He's a great entertainer, especially for the generation that we're in today. But he's not the best person to put in a position of power. Not because he's going to misuse or abuse the power, but he would rather not exercise it at all. You know, he would rather sit back, let y'all go at each other, use that for ratings, use that for entertainment value, not understanding that people walk away with hurt feelings or feeling some type of way, and it's going to affect future episodes. It's going to affect the chemistry of the show, which ultimately is going to hinder the longevity. Not to mention the fact that anytime you have a sports show or any type of production and it's male dominated, and then you have one woman on the set, you definitely need somebody present that can speak on the behalf of the lady. Not because you got to pander to her, but because there's a lot of testosterone going on. Niggas are going to say misogynistic things by nature. It just happens. A lot of the thought processes of men are rooted in misogyny subconsciously. Not to mention, you also need to have a strong leader in place where somebody like Miko, if she's out of hand or she's out of line, she also needs a leader that's trustworthy, that she can accept constructive criticism from and understand and know that it's not coming from a place of malice or a place of trying to criticize her, but to keep everything in check. And again, I don't think anybody on that show looks to Gil for that level of leadership. In the end, I hope everybody lands on their feet. Miko has her own podcast. She's got her other things that she's trying to be involved in. Gil's Arena continues to be successful. It has a large fan base, and unfortunately, with her missing, they were able to plug someone else in and keep that shit moving. But I hope that everybody involved takes it as a learning lesson, which I'm sure that they won't. All right, let me know what y'all think of this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the post notification bell for all updates, and I will see y'all on the next one. All right, peace.
King of my city in cul-de-sac, coming out swinging like soldier rags, leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind, knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mile. We finna do more than survive, I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda, we hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer, we come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some batteries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.